Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. It's 8:26 on KSJE. You're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program, and now our focus turns to San Juan Regional Medical Center. We have a couple of topics to discuss with my guests this morning. Pip Howard is here, lactation consultant from San Juan Regional Medical Center. Welcome back to KSJE.
Thank you, Scott. Good morning.
Good to have you here. Also, Makayla Applegate is here as well from the EMS department. Paramedics, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in this morning as well.
Thank you for having us.
You bet. But Pip, let's start with you a little bit about all this baby friendliness stuff we're hearing about with the hospital. And this is after some hard work by you and a lot of other folks at the hospital to get this designation.
It was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Not just us, but starting the baby-friendly process has been a long journey, starting from simply wishing for it and then exploring it. And then once we got administration to really back us and to understand the importance of breastfeeding, we got it going, and we go through the steps. It's a process called the 4D pathway, where you initially discover information, followed by developing a plan, followed by disseminating the information, and finally we get a survey, and baby-friendly team comes on site and they survey us to make sure that we're doing everything we said we are. And they said, well, you're doing about 95%. You just got to tweak a couple of things. And after some more hard work over the last few months, finally in the middle of June, we got our letter, we got our information, and we have our certificate. And we are officially baby-friendly designated, and we are going to celebrate that.
Right. You're having a big party.
We're having a big party.
It's a baby shower, I've heard,
right?
Right?
It is a baby shower.
Okay.
So we invite everybody to come and join us on the 1st of August, which is a Thursday afternoon around 4 p.m. in the very beautiful Healing Garden at San Juan Regional. And if you haven't been there, it's certainly worth a visit. It has a little, we were talking about Bistai Bay here.
Right.
We have a very small little stream coming through there, a little fountain. It's not really a fountain, but a stream coming through there.
Nice. Yeah.
And we spent a long time discussing what time of day to do it, because it faces south. So, but there's a lot of buildings to the west. So by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we hope it'll be a little more shady. And it's such a beautiful location. We're having a baby shower. We invite expectant parents to attend.
Okay.
We invite people with new babies to attend. We actually have door prizes. We have a gift for every single family who attends. So every single mom, and we will be providing those, and we're going to really celebrate our hard work, because it's not an easy designation to achieve.
Right, and so congratulations, first of all, on this designation, and then with this baby shower, and folks can just show up. They don't need to RSVP or anything like that. Just show up at the Healing Garden at 4 o'clock on the 1st of August.
Exactly. You don't need to RSVP. We will be really celebrating it. And the reason why we picked this date is because every year the first week of August is designated World Breastfeeding Week.
Okay.
And in fact, the whole month of August is National Breastfeeding Month. So since we received our designation in mid-June, we decided that why not celebrate at the beginning of World Breastfeeding Week? Let's have a big kickoff to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week and invite people to come in and learn a little bit more about it.
Sure. Well, it makes a lot of sense. And so talk to me a bit about some of the work that went into getting this designation then. As you mentioned, it's been going on for a while, and you had to tweak a few things and change a few things before finally that letter came in mid-June.
Yes. So there's a series of 10 steps, and we talked about that a few months ago. And the 10 steps basically say, everybody in your hospital needs to be educated about breastfeeding. And the people on our unit specifically need to have 20 hours of online training and also in-person training to be able to really support. All the nurses have to be able to support everybody that comes in who wants to breastfeed. Some of the key practices that have changed over time is historically babies were, once they were born, it was almost like they were taken away from the moms and straight away scrubbed down, given shots, and only a couple of hours later might they be given back to the moms, sometimes quicker.
Right.
But now we really encourage that mother-baby bonding from the moment they are born. And that is really key, and the bonding that moms can achieve. And I usually go in and see babies within a few hours of their birth, and a lot of the time I see the mom there just holding her baby. And, moms work very hard for 9 months, and then, it's almost like the baby used to become a hospital piece of property. But now we really emphasize that keeping moms and baby together, keeping baby in the room. It's called rooming in. How best can you learn to take care of your baby, but to be taking care of your baby?
Right.
And then we do have 3 lactation consultants. We work 6 days a week, and to ensure that all moms get education from us, along with all of our nurses who are great support. And, a big shout out to the administration of the hospital, because always without administration, it's hard to move forward, and they have been so supportive of us getting going on this journey.
Right. And it seems to me like this care of newborns and infants is evolving. I mean, gone are the days of the old movies when we'd see the nursery and the lines of bassinets and the father on the other side of the glass tapping on the window or whatever, looking at the newborns and things like that. That does not happen anymore.
It really doesn't.
At least not in San Juan Regional.
It doesn't.
Right.
And, it's a national movement, and it's actually an international movement. Baby-friendly is an international designation. And over the last few years, many, many more hospitals are pursuing this designation. And I wish I had all my numbers for New Mexico, but there's a lot of hospitals in New Mexico who are either pursuing this or are achieving this. And it takes a lot of work. Now, we talk a lot about breastfeeding, but we don't ignore formula feeding moms. Mm-hmm. We support the moms in whatever choice they make. We provide education. Choice. It is always the mom's choice.
Right.
We provide education. We provide support for those moms. We talk about safe infant feeding practices, whether mom is choosing formula or choosing breastfeeding. Now, we try to educate everybody about the benefits of breastfeeding, because breastfeeding does provide an improved immune system. Breastfeeding provides protection against ear infections, protection against respiratory infections, and it's beneficial for moms. Women who breastfeed have less likelihood of getting certain types of cancer, such as breast cancer, and it protects against diabetes, and of course that's always a big focus in our community.
Sure, and there's tons of data supporting all these things.
There is tons of data supporting all of these things.
Decades and decades. And so It's important for moms to get all this information so they can make that important decision.
Yes, it is. But even if a mom says, you know what, thank you for the information, I formula fed my other children, they're healthy, I'm going to continue to formula feed, we still encourage the bonding part at the very beginning of life. And
Sure.
That ability to hold your baby skin to skin when they're very first born is such an important moment in the life of that mom and in the life of that baby. It's not just about, like I said, it's not just about the feeding method. It's about creating stable, happy families. And if you have the sense that this is your baby and you are holding your baby from the moment they're born, it can translate it can translate all the way down the line into, stronger families, healthier families. So I have a little sign up in one of my classrooms that says, breastfeeding, it's more than just baby food.
Right. Right. And what about dad's role in all of this? They have a big part to play, do they not?
Dads absolutely have a big part to play. Providing education about how to safely give breast milk through a bottle for dads. We do recommend, if a mom is breastfeeding, that she breastfeed directly at the breast, especially during those first hours, days, and weeks. And once she's got breastfeeding going well, then if she's going back to work, or if dad or other family members are going to be taking care of the baby, we certainly provide further education and talk about safe bottle feeding, safe quantities. And at San Juan Regional, we have an amazing support for not just newborns, but babies after they go home. Anybody in our community can contact us and get support with breastfeeding, or if they're trying to wean babies, because we are seeing a lot more babies breastfeed for longer, maybe for a year, 2 years. And once you start breastfeeding a baby who's a little older, it can be you've got a child who is speaking and who can tell you what they want, rather than a mom who maybe thought that a year was plenty to breastfeed. We're seeing more moms who are breastfeeding for longer, and we can support them through that transition. And our services are available. As I said, we're there 6 days a week. And if anybody needs that phone number, it's 505-609-6484 for any calls, any questions about anything related to breastfeeding or infant feeding in general.
Very good. Good to know. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for watching us. Pip, you have a fan who's watching. They made a comment on our Facebook page that you're amazing. So, and so it's great to have you all along with us for the program this morning to talk a little bit about this baby-friendly designation at San Juan Regional Medical Center and the work that you and your colleagues and lactation consultants do to work with new moms and returning moms and all these things. But I imagine for a new mom, it's really important to get all this information, and maybe they seem overwhelmed sometimes with so much info that you could share with them.
Having a new baby is very overwhelming in the first place. I teach the childbirth classes also, and right from the beginning I say, you do understand you are embarking on a journey that is going to be the biggest change you will ever experience in your life.
Right. And then when they pick up their jaws off the floor, and then what do you say next?
I say, so I'm here to educate you in what can potentially happen, what it will be like. You're going to tell me afterwards whether I got somewhere close to the truth, because it's very difficult to discuss with people what it's actually going to be like when you hold your baby in your arms, when you go through the process of labor, because it is a profoundly life-altering thing to go through. And I encourage them to really treat it as a sacred moment, that it's not just about, it's extremely painful and then you get a baby.
Right.
That it is this transformative moment.
Right, that makes sense. Let me bring in Makayla Applegate to our conversation this morning, who's with the San Juan Regional Paramedics. And I know when we talk about EMS and ambulances and things like this, and Pip Howard, you are another advocate for child safety seats, and
yes.
That's also another part of what you do, another hat that you wear at the hospital, correct?
Yes, it is.
And it's very important to know the right size of the seat for your child and make sure it's installed correctly in your car?
It is. It's very important to know. And San Juan Regional, and we are a distribution center, so if a family has a need, we are able to provide a car seat. We do ask for a small copay of $20, which is a lot less than any car seat would take, and we're able to waive that fee if a family has a need that they are not able to provide any $20. And we fairly frequently find ourselves in a position where we are waiving that fee, but we want to make sure that every baby goes home safely.
Right, and that's important, and it can travel around safely as
can travel around
moving
safely
around town.
And it is a child passenger safety seat. It's not a house. So we encourage people, put your baby in the car seat when they're traveling, but they don't need to be living in the car seat.
Good point. Very good. Makayla, let me bring you into the conversation here a little bit about that and more safety issues. Obviously, when you come on a scene and there's a baby in a car seat, hopefully properly restrained, I mean, that could really help the child in case of an accident or something, correct, if they're in the right situation.
Exactly. So if you have a car seat that's improperly placed, I mean, that's life or death for the child. They can be thrown from the vehicle. You see all the time on Facebook posts, I mean, social media is quite rampant these days, of vehicles that are completely destroyed. The roof is completely caved in, and then the child's seat is completely intact. The child is actually, the infant, seems to be in the best seat of the house in a car accident. You know, that's a very stressful situation, but your babies are protected whenever they have the appropriate size seat, whenever you have the chest harness correctly placed on the child. Most of the time, I mean, I've gone on scenes and the baby is still sleeping, and that freaks the parents out even more, but they're okay. They're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to see and good to know. And that's why these things are so important, when they're installed correctly and then used correctly with the baby in them.
Exactly.
Right. And some of the other issues in summertime with your job is just the heat, of course. We all know the dangers of children in hot cars, and unfortunately those stories don't go away. I wish they would.
Yes. They still happen. I mean, whenever people are just going into the store, they think it's okay to shut off their vehicle, leave their child in there, whether they're still sleeping or they have too much on their mind. Your child comes first. Irregardless if your child is sleeping. I know sometimes that can be very difficult, sleeping schedules, anything going on in your life. You still have to take your child out of that vehicle. I mean, your car within 5 minutes can increase in temperatures by 10 degrees. So, and oftentimes, if you see a child locked in a car, call 911 immediately. And a parent should always be with the child. You need to remove the child from the vehicle and get them acclimated if they might have an increase in their respiratory rate or hot to the touch. If you have ice packs, you can put them underneath their arms to try and cool them off a little bit. What you're concerned about too with heat exposure is you can have heat exposure and heat stroke. So your body, your skin, you sweat. Whenever you've compensated for so long, you stop sweating, and that's at the point when you become susceptible for heat stroke, which is actually where you lose consciousness and you can have a seizure as well. So, you know, it is life or death. Irregardless if your child needs to sleep, you need to bring them in the grocery store, a family member's house, your doctor's appointment, whatever.
You can't leave them in the car.
You cannot.
Right. And this can happen fairly quickly, right? I mean, as you mentioned, how quickly cars can heat up if they're just left off and in a hot parking lot or what have you. And then, of course, for the human body to react to these rising temperatures, I mean, this can all happen fairly quickly.
Yes, it can. Especially tomorrow's going to be 95 degrees. You know, before too long, we might hit the triple digits. We were talking earlier about how it took so long for the heat to finally get to us. We didn't know if we were ever going to have summer. And now that it's here, we're in the full swing, and you need to stay cool, and you need to, even yourself, I mean, you can't be sitting in the car and think it's okay and try and take a nap under a tree. Even in the shade, you're susceptible to heat exposure.
That's true. Very true. Another, I think, pet peeve of yours and your fellow EMS workers is folks that don't move to the right for ambulances when they're trying to get to an emergency, right? I mean, we still have that problem in America.
Correct.
I don't think Farmington is special in that.
No, we are definitely not special in that aspect. But one thing is, in any kind of emergency, you know, time is brain, time is muscle. So if somebody's having a stroke, you need to make sure that you're able to get to them quickly. If somebody's having a heart attack, you don't want to kill their muscle. You know, babies, you need to get to babies, or expectant mothers that have a a very difficult pregnancy or a breech birth, or they know that they're having these complications with a high-risk pregnancy, and we are going lights and sirens, our dispatch center helps us code through whenever we need to use our lights and sirens, and that is a life or death situation. So if we have our lights on, please pull to the right, because we will use the leftmost lane. I will use the turn lane to try and get around traffic. If you see us shut off our lights, the city of Farmington and surrounding areas, we have a lot of construction. You know, we understand, like on San Juan Boulevard, we can't get around you. The entire center lane is blocked off.
Right.
So if we get stuck, try not to panic. We'll go ahead, we'll shut off our siren, and we'll wait for the light to turn or until we can actually get around you. So we try to not panic the public, but the thing is even in the summertime, students, some high schoolers, they're getting ready to go about their journey and driving for the first time. Parents, talk to your kids. Tell them that's what you need, that they need to go to the rightmost lane. If they're in the far left lane, just go to the center. That's perfectly fine.
But still move to the right.
Still move to the right,
That's
please.
the key.
And stop. So since we use the leftmost lane, if we need to make a right-hand turn, we need you to stop so we can go ahead and cut in front of you and make that turn.
Gotcha.
So always stop.
And again, motorists don't know where your destination is. They just know that there's an ambulance with lights and sirens, and so that's why if you pull over to the right and stop, you can get where you need to go.
Exactly.
And in that single lane, if it's a single lane situation, even if I pull off into the shoulder, you could have enough room, I suppose, if everybody did what they're supposed to do to squeeze through and get going, right? If everyone did what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. You know, it would be very beneficial for us, and for what if it was your family member? You don't know what's going on at your relative's house.
Right.
So we could be going to your family member, and that could mean a lot to us. Just pulling to the right, into that shoulder, into that little dirt area, that's not going to hinder your life, you know, or somebody else's by you cutting someone off or anything along those lines. But yes, please do so.
Very important. Okay. Thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate it very much. Pip Howard, I'm going to come back to you for one more time to talk a bit about this big event in August, celebrating your baby friendliness at San Juan Regional Medical Center. And again, congratulations. And this event is happening on August the 1st.
It is happening on August the 1st, so please come and join us. We really want to host the whole community, because if we didn't have a community here, we wouldn't have a hospital. If we didn't have a hospital, we wouldn't be baby friendly. And once again, you know, a huge shout out to everybody in administration for supporting us, for encouraging us, and for helping us along the way, because we're the as it were the boots on the ground doing the work. But if you don't have support from your hospital, you can't really go forward.
That's very true. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
August 1st, 4 o'clock is the time and the date
Yes.
for the gigantic baby shower, it sounds like to me.
Yes, it will be a great baby shower, and come out, and if you haven't been to the Healing Garden at the hospital, it will be an awesome time to come and join us. And we're working on it, and a further thing, there is a further event not directly related to the hospital, but it's also put on by some of us who are here and other people in the community for World Breastfeeding Week. We will be having a party in the park in Aztec near the Splash Park at Minium Park on that Saturday.
Okay.
From 1 to 3 p.m. We will be inviting community members to come out and join us and have a further celebration of World Breastfeeding Week at that point. So if you don't make it to the grand baby-friendly baby shower, come and join us on Saturday afternoon, August 4th in Aztec. We're trying to reach out to other communities and bring your kids and come out to the Splash Park. It may not be quite up to the standards of Bistai Bay that we were hearing about earlier,
Right.
but it will be a lot of fun. We'll have some snacks, and we just really love to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week and share with all the families in the community.
Very good. Well, it sounds like a couple of great events coming up.
Yes,
So
it
thank
will
you
be.
for sharing that with us. Thank you both for coming in. Pip Howard, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Makayla, Applegate, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. My guests here from San Juan Regional Medical Center on KSJE. More coming up in just a moment. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.